of elite NSD Emeritus, Barbara Sundin. Now, if you don't know Barbara, she is the top money earner in our company's history. And at this event, Barbara asked us, how are you showing up? She talked about how you show up determines how you go up. So I thought I would ask you, how are you showing up at Leadership Conference? Are you showing up as the person you want to be? Because how you show up is establishing who you are. Barbara went on to say, what's happening out there is what's happening in here. What's happening out there is what's happening in here. Everything starts with your mindset. So tell me, have you ever compared your journey with another director? Right? Don't lie. Maybe you both started your business at the same time. Maybe you even had the same senior director or same national sales director. Of course, you had the same starter kit, the same product, but maybe she's in your Cadillac and you're not. Or maybe she's earned that top director trip and you haven't. The difference maker, most likely, is mindset. You see, mindset trumps everything. You can do everything wrong with the right attitude and still succeed. You see, Barbara didn't talk about lead generating, booking scripts, or our party presentation. She talked to us about mindset. She talked to us about personal growth. And I believe that the biggest part of personal growth is becoming aware of and controlling our mindset. John C. Maxwell says that no matter where you are, you're exactly where your thoughts have brought you. And tomorrow you will be where your thoughts take you. So, what are your thoughts about growing your unit size? What are your thoughts surrounding holding personal parties and doing personal sharing appointments? When we take control of our thinking, we take control of our destiny. You guys, as a new director, I had a lot of fear surrounding and doubt just surrounding leading a large unit. In fact, I remember complaining to my mom, who's my senior director, that I was the only one holding parties and the only one doing team building appointments. Have you ever felt that way? Well, of course, my mom listened to me moan and groan, and then she asked me, Kristin, do you know the rule of thirds? So, do you know the rule? A third of your unit will be working. A third will be wondering what to do. And a third will be on their way to Mary Kay heaven. So let's just say hypothetically that you have 30 active unit members right now. 30 unit members in A1, A2, and A3 status. Using the rule of thirds, that would mean that you have 10 consultants in your unit that are potentially working and wanting to build their business. 10 that are wondering what to do. And 10 that are on their way to Mary Kay heaven. Of the 10 that are working, or at least telling you they are, right? I encourage you to focus on the top 20%. You see, the top 20% of the ones that are working in that top third. So with 10 consultants working, 20% breaks down to 2 people that you will be focusing on mentoring and moving up the career path. It's not 20% of your unit, it's 20% of the third that are working. So, 50 active unit members, on average, you're gonna have about 3 key people. 100 active unit members, you're gonna have 6 key people. 200 active unit members, you're gonna have about 13 key people. Much more manageable, right? So, I want you to go ahead and figure your third based on the number of active A1, A2, A2 and A3 unit members that you have right now. Some of you are looking a little concerned. Let's be real, some of you are like, man, girl, I gotta log into InTouch because I don't even know what that number is. Cleansing breath in, cleansing breath out. Do not worry. Instead, I invite you to be empowered. Adjust your mindset. The rule of the thirds takes a lot of pressure off thinking that you have to be everything to everyone. This rule actually allows you to keep your personal business the focus and to work with the ones that are willing to do the work. Remember, it's you, the new, and the... The rule of thirds helps you identify the few that will lead you to the many. You guys, once I grasped this rule, it allowed me to better manage my emotions, my mindset, and my time. It allowed me to stop focusing on who wasn't working, and it turned my attention to who was. The rule of thirds also boosted my confidence in my belief that I could build and maintain a large unit. You know, Mary Kay Ash said that at 50 active unit members, it's a good starting point. At 50, you've begun building a solid base with your unit, and it really positions you for growth. With a unit of 50, considering the rule of the thirds, you're working with about 3 key people. I love Mary Kay's advice. 50 unit members is a good starting point. And by 50, I mean 50 active. A1, A2, and A3. Do not expect your unit members to sell or team build if you aren't. You guys, I'm intentional about working my skincare parties full circle and having new team members come and observe at least 3 to 5 of my parties before they do their own. They watch me in action. They literally record me on their phone. And they go home and they practice for themselves. Lately, I haven't even been doing like a normal new consultant training, you guys. Literally, because there's so much noise, my new consultant training is just a skincare party. That's it. That's it. And because I have a 3-year-old and I'm just doing life and doing Mary Kay, I've been having these skincare parties / my new consultant training at my kitchen table. And my dear friend NSC Heidi Gelser gave me this amazing idea that I should really have them come at least 3 to 4 weeks and bring at least 1 guest and then have them graduate and give them a prize. And I thought, well, I'm incorporating that when I get home. Thank you, Heidi. But you guys, all I do is keep it simple, sweetie. Model the skincare party. And then I do the marketing. And I have my personal guests there too. You guys, leading by example is leading by and leading with integrity. Mary Kay Ash said, monkey see, monkey. It's amazing how much your unit will just catch by watching you. Remember, you are the VIP. Do not take the VIP out of the field. And this can happen by you constantly doing everyone else's parties. You want to empower them to do their own. Still today, as a national sales director who has still $1 million unit, I'm still the #1 seller and the #1 team builder most months. And I don't share that with you for recognition or applause, but I want to be very transparent with you. On average, I have 2, 3, sometimes 4 consultants in my personal unit that do the National Court of Sales with me. But gosh, I don't get a ring no more. I still do the National Court of Sharing. And when I have someone in my unit do the National Court of Sharing, guess what? They become a first-line offspring sales director. You earn while they learn. So let me take you back to seminar 2006. I had been a director for about 9 months and been in the company exactly 1 year. We had just completed our first triple star, completing the National Court of Sales, the Court of Sharing, and the $300,000 unit club. As I was coming off the seminar stage, after being recognized for just earning our pink Cadillac, I saw NSD Emeritus Daylene White in the audience. Now, for those of you that don't know who Daylene is, she was consultant 00001. She was the very first ever Mary Kay Beauty consultant and the first ever sales director. She was also one of the first 2 national sales directors. So I saw Daylene and I ran over to her to share with her my successful first seminar accomplishments. You guys, I remember holding up my Cadillac keychain and saying, "Daylene, Daylene, we did it!" She replied, "Honey, it's wonderful. Congratulations. Now tell me, what is your unit size?" No joke, I did. 100! 100 strong! Literally, arms in the air, you guys. And she looked me in the eyes, just the way that I would imagine Mary Kay Ash used to do, with her right eye connected to my right eye. She said the following words that changed the whole trajectory of my business. "Keep doing skincare parties, Kristin. Don't breathe until you get to 300 unit members. But really, the goal is 500. It would have been really easy to feel deflated in that moment. Because you guys, I had just worked my guts out to reach 100. But I knew that mindset mattered. And I was smart enough to know that Daylene White was beauty consultant 00001. So when Daylene spoke, I listened. And I made the commitment at that seminar that I was going to continue to party and pass it on until our unit hit 500 active. My unit did the $950,000 unit club 2 years in a row. We had about 200 active beauty consultants. Our first million in 2013, we did 1.1 million, and that year we hit 300 active unit members. In 2014, our second $1 million year, doing 1.25 million, we were #1 in the world. We ended with over 500 active consultants. I share that with you because that year we offsprang 7 first-line directors, and I became a national sales director. You guys, Daylene was right. Unit size matters. And my early years as a sales director, you guys, they were the formative years that led me to where I am today. And here's what I did. I completed the National Court of Sharing 8 years in a row. And the National Court of Sales 7 out of my 8 years. That personal work landed me a unit club every year. Those 8 years, from new consultant to national sales director, I averaged 34 personal qualified team members each year. I tracked my results and have calculated that anywhere from 65% to as high as 80% of the unit members recruited each seminar year were recruited by me or one of my personal recruits that seminar year. So, on average, 73% of my unit growth came from me earning the Diamond Bumblebee every year. You guys, the reality is that I wouldn't have personally recruited earn the B consistently, I would have never built a strong unit. I would have never earned a pink Cadillac. I would have never earned a top director trip. I would have never been $1 million director, and I would have never become a national sales director. I have the stats to prove it. 73% of my unit's growth was dependent on me personally holding skincare parties. When I sold the products, I met new team members, and those new team members went on to become red jackets in my unit, and they went on to become my offspring directors. All of my first-line directors, when we debuted as a national area, were recruited by me or one of my personal team members. I challenge you to go back and look at your reports. I'm willing to bet that many of you would have earned a Cadillac, finished a unit club, or hit a higher unit club if you would have personally finished the Court of Sales and the Court of Sharing. You guys, what I love about these two courts is that you have control. And when you focus on these courts and you do them well, your unit size will grow, and so will your results. You might be thinking, Kristin, how do I do this? I have one simple word. Parties. Parties around a kitchen table. Let me be clear. I did not say Zoom. I did not say Facebook. And I certainly did not say Instagram. Ladies, there is not a carefully crafted post or a hashtag that will put a bumblebee or a bar pin on your shoulder. Face to face, heart to heart, knee to knee, around that kitchen table is key to confidently creating a strong selling unit. You guys, Barbara at this event, she kept saying, high touch, low tech. In fact, she shared that Mary Kay Ash herself embraced technology, but even Mary Kay would say, high touch, low tech. High touch, low tech. So if you're feeling like you're the only one working, that feeling is only temporary. If you commit to holding personal parties, promoting the Great Start program, and completing the National Court of Sales and the National Court of Sharing. You guys, all these B's, if you can see them, all of these B's are a result of consistently holding 3 or more parties a week in and week out for 8 straight years. The strongest recruits come from your parties. They see firsthand how this business works, and they see how to work full circle. In fact, I researched this too. When I analyzed the productivity of my unit, I have found that my personal team is twice as active as the rest of my unit. When you hold skincare parties, your unit members will hold skincare parties. Barbara Sundin said, the smaller your unit, the more personal skincare parties you need to do. Barbara also talked about the importance of having a minimum of 10 new unit members a month. Now, I know this isn't a new concept, but she did share that out of the 10 new, you're probably only going to have 1-star consultant. And out of the 10, only 3 will be good. So basically, 10 new unit members will result in really only 4. So don't beat yourself up. Know the averages and work the numbers. Doesn't that give you like a sense of relief? Like you're not crazy. This is normal. It's right in alignment with the rule of thirds. So, you guys, as my unit got larger, I was averaging 20 to 30 new agreements a month consistently. And as we were finishing our national area, we averaged more like 30 to 40 a month. My unit has recruited 126 new consultants in 1 month. Now get this, my friend, Mia Mason, she holds the record in my state for recruiting 127 in 1 month. The last year I was the sales director, my unit added 368 new that year, which is 3 more than my goal of 1 new unit member daily. It was my mindset. Barbara said that the 2 most important tools to building a strong unit is your weekly success meeting and monthly newsletter that you print and mail. She also made it clear that she was well aware that most directors today have stopped doing both, which she believes is like slitting your own wrists. Barbara also held 2 to 3 meetings a week in different areas, about 1 to 2 hours away from where she lived, with the intention of building a leader in that area. She talked about how she always had a DIQ in her unit, and that was her goal for growth. She encouraged us to make a blueprint of our ideal unit, to profile our unit, and to really know how many people we want at each level of the career path. In fact, she referenced having an inventory of people at each level of the career path. Well, I'll tell you, I have always used the tool on InTouch. They call it the blueprint now, and it looks like little paper dolls. You find it by going to Mary Kay InTouch, and it's under Business Tools, and then you click on At a Glance. There's a little drop-down box where you can compare your unit to a unit that does 300,000 all the way up to 1 million. So let's say that your goal is to do 500,000. It literally, you guys, lays out the average of how many consultants, senior consultants, star team builders, team leaders, DIQs that you would need on average to create that production. How many of you use that tool? Okay, good. You guys, it's amazing, and it's a great starting point to create your blueprint based on your goal. It clearly outlines the number of unit members needed at each level of the career path. And it tells you what is needed to create the unit club that you're shooting for. You guys, if you need momentum, commit to doing a personal gold medal, 5 personal team members, 3 months in a row. I promise it's going to change your business for the better. I have learned that everything comes from growth. My strategy to confidently grow my unit was to always focus on people. When you focus on people, the production will come. Unit size matters. You guys, performance and production gets you influence in this company. I remember sitting in the audience like this, at an event like this, totally thinking that I could teach way better than the lady on stage. Don't lie, you've had that thought too. And I know when you say it out loud, it kind of sounds snobby, right? But that's not my heart. I want to be real, because I would go back to the hotel room and tell my mom, like, oh yeah. And my mom, Senior NSD Emeritus Connie Kitson, would constantly remind me that my performance and my unit production would gain me influence in this company. Teachers are chosen to teach at events not based on their teaching ability, but based on their performance. If you want more influence, more opportunities like this, get more people. The bigger you think, the more lives you touch, and the more influence you have. Mom told me that when I had 100 unit members or less, things would be hard. She told me at 100 or more, things would get easier. At 200 unit members, things would get really fun. And at 300, I would love my life and my paycheck. She was right. You guys, I track my stars, and it's true. A track number grows. I have found that your number of yearly stars can help you really calculate the unit club that you're going to finish. So, for example, if you have 30 stars for the year, it's going $300,000 unit club. 40 stars, 400,000. 50 stars, $500,000. You get the idea. But I really focus on having women be 4-quarter stars. And you guys, I really play up the consistency program the company has in place with the bead jewelry. I also have really powerful and fun star parties. And people are craving community and experiences. So create that sisterhood and that fun at your star events. I have done everything from ice skating to bowling to mini golf to those painting parties to photo shoots to scavenger hunts to escape rooms to historic tea houses, you name it. But it's usually a mystery and I create major FOMO. Well, last night here at Leadership, my directors did not want to have a directors meeting. They wanted to have time together, an experience. So we went to Splitsville Bowling Alley, downtown Disney. You guys, I have my unit focusing on selling $300 a week. I'm obsessed with it. It's all I talk about. $300 a week, backed up by 150 wholesale reorder. You know, $300 weeks, week in and week out, results in $1,200 or more in retail sales, which results in $600 or more in wholesale production. And you guys, we break that down by recognizing $100 days. They report them to me by text or by calling me or Voxer, and then I affirm them individually. And then my assistant gives them a shout out on Facebook, on Voxer, and in our unit Instagram, so their peers can see it. And for every $100 day, they get entered into our monthly Grand Day drawing. So if they have a $500 day, it's 5 entries. You get the gist. And I do a drawing at the end of the month for one person to earn a prize from me. You guys, recognizing Grand Days helps me celebrate with my unit, and it gives me a pulse on who's selling. I have broken down so many goals in my Mary Kay business based on how many Grand Days my unit needs to have. I also do a lot of reco based on who turns in their weekly accomplishment sheets. You see, when your unit is personally using the products, selling, and building a customer base, they're not gonna quit Mary Kay. And you guys, with all of these product changes the company has given us, I think a lot of consultants are confused what moisturizer to use or what foundation they should be wearing. So again, I'm doing a lot of parties at my home where I'm inviting consultants to come and get refacialed. I'm booking my own guests, of course, as well too, but my thought process is to get them face to face, heart to heart, to rebuild that relationship with them, but also to resell them on our products and our business opportunity. Our job as a director, you guys, is to sell the seller. And when you get really good at that, your results will show it. According to the company stats, 70% of consultants will only sell and never team build. So making sure that our consultants are using Mary Kay head to toe and teaching product knowledge and selling and teaching how to build a customer base, you guys, it's key to creating a strong unit. 25% of consultants will sell and team build. And 5% of consultants will become sales directors. Statistically, half of the sales directors stay sales directors. And that's how they calculate that 2% of the Salesforce members are sales directors. So congratulations, you are in the top 2%. And you guys, this is bold, but I wholeheartedly believe that when directors have strong, personal customer bases, they will stay sales directors. So there's this really amazing report on Mary Kay in Touch called the Unit Analysis Summary, and you can find it under Business Tools and then under My Reports. And I highly suggest that you study this report. I'm gonna touch on a couple aspects of this. And the first one is you wanna look at this report and see what your average order per consultant is. And the goal is to have at least a 400 wholesale order average or more. Because that 400 tells me that you have a strong selling unit. When that number is below 400, perhaps you have an older unit where the consultants are really just satisfied servicing the customers they have, and they're not actively pursuing getting more. So perhaps an increase of new unit team members would improve this average. Also, if that number is below 400, I would evaluate how you're promoting the bee jewelry, or perhaps start promoting the pre-bee with 300 wholesale in by the 15th. If your average is lower than 400, I would suggest focusing on product knowledge, customer service, booking, PCP, how to book, how to close by modeling it, the basics of selling. Or perhaps you could start focusing on perfect starts and power starts and leading the charge on new faces. Next is the percentage of ordering consultants. You want your percentage to be 33% or higher, a third ordering at all times. New and excited consultants who want to hold parties can of course help increase this average. But you can also focus on consultants having strong customer bases by promoting 50, 75, 100, 150 customers, and recognizing the consultants that accomplish this. You can encourage participation in the preferred customer program, which you also want that to be around 33%. When that number dips lower than 33%, I am highly concerned about my personal unit. All right, the next category I want you to look at is average new team members. This is usually a big shock when you see this figure. Of course, the goal is more than 10. And really, we want it to be 15, 20, and beyond for those of you that are wanting to build your national area. But if you can't see 10 or more, you guys, make it your goal to have 10% growth of your unit size, taking into account your terminations. And ladies, look at the termination number, because even if you're bringing 10 in, but you're losing 10 out the back door, you're not growing, right? So, did you realize that a unit of 33 can grow to over 100 in 12 months? So let's do a simple exercise real fast. Bust out a clean piece of paper, and I'm going to show you what's possible in 1 year just by focusing on 10% growth. So, on the side of your paper, going down, like in a column, I want you to start with January, February, March, April, all 12 months list in a column. And we're gonna hypothetically say that you have 33 active right now. So it's gonna say January, 33 plus 10%. So 33 times 0.10 is what? 3. So 33 plus 3 is 36. So February, you're gonna start with 36 plus 10%. 4 equals 40. So February will say 36 plus 4 equals 40. So March, you're gonna start with 40. 10% of 40 is 4. So 40 plus 4 is 44. So starting in April, you're gonna have 44 plus 4%, which is what? 4 equals 48. Okay, so in May, you're starting with 48 plus 10% is what? 5 equals 53. So June, you're starting with 53 plus 10% is what? 5 equals 58. So July, you're starting with 58 plus 10%. 6 equals 64. Very good. So August, you're starting off with 64 plus 10%. 7 equals 71. We're rounding up, okay? September, 71 we're starting with plus 10%. 7 equals 78. So October, we're starting with 78 plus 10%. 8 equals 86, right? So November, we're starting with 86 plus 10%. 9 equals 95, right? So December, we have 95 plus 10%. 10 equals 105. Isn't that amazing? You guys, in just 1 year, focusing just on 10% growth, you could go from 33 to 105. So I'm going to challenge challenge you when you go home to plug in your own numbers into this format and set your goal and see where you will be this time next year. Just start January with your current unit size. Okay, so I want to share with you some numbers straight from the company that might surprise you. My dear friend Heidi Gelzer brought this to my attention a couple days ago, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it. The average unit in Mary Kay adds how many new team members a month? 3. I know. In December, as a company, we averaged how many new unit members per unit? 1.5. Is your mouth on the floor? Because mine was. I got actually a little sick to my stomach. So let's be real, you guys. What's behind team building being so low? Well, this past week at our event, my dear friend NSD Heidi Gelzer asked the question to a group of 22 top achievers in our company, and this is what they said. Team building is low because there are just a lot more options of direct selling companies than ever before. Team building is low because directors are not taking personal responsibility. People are marketing and sharing the opportunity in the wrong way. There's not enough one-on-one, face-to-face, in-person sharing. People are not team building because they're focusing too much on technology. We have stopped tracking. We have stopped holding personal parties. We lack confidence because we're not personally working. There's a lack of vision. You might be able to add more to that list. But what was so brilliant is Heidi next led us through an exercise to brainstorm what women are looking for today. And I suggest that you do this on your own, but here's a couple things that the directors at our event shared with us. Women today are looking for a tribe to be a part of. They're looking for flexibility, independence, fun. They're looking for an encouraging environment, connection, harmony, experiences. Women are looking for companies that support social responsibility. Women are craving community. They want to follow a leader with vision. Hello, ladies! We have all these things! Oh my gosh, and Mary Kay Ash has offered this to us for 56 years. Even Barbara Sundin, retired, said, we truly have the best marketing plan, the most unique experience. We invented the tribe. Heidi went on to say that she believed that we have been managing, not multiplying. We have been living in a scarcity mentality, and I believe we are spending way too much time on social media, and we are comparing ourselves with others. Barbara said it herself, a director's only problem is other directors. It's been said, you guys, that when economy is good, then we share the Mary Kay dream. We talk about the dream. And when the economy is bad, we talk about the money. So I encourage you to adjust how you share the marketing plan based on the type of women you are meeting with, based on listening to them with a heart to hear what they're saying. I suggest that you make a list of attributes you want your team members to possess, and that you pray over that list, because what you focus on magnifies and multiplies. You guys, bottom line, creating a strong unit starts with you and your mindset. The bigger you think, the more lives you touch, and the more influence you gain. Our Mary Kay opportunity has been the best kept secret, and it's time for us to get out and share. So Kristin Sharpe, am challenging you in the month of January to do 25. No, heck, let's say 30. 30. Face to face, knee to knee, heart to heart, sharing appointments, not using technology. I'm challenging you to listen with your heart and find out each woman's needs and what her goals are. And I'm challenging you to share with her how she can use Mary Kay as a vehicle to achieve her dreams. I want you to squeeze the hands of the women next to you. I want you to whisper to her, let's do it together. I'm gonna ask you to team up with a sister sales director. Exchange phone numbers. Barbara told me that Mary Kay Ash recruited 17 women in 1 week. If Mary Kay Ash can recruit 17 women who didn't even know what Mary Kay was, you can recruit 5 women in the month of January. So if you're committed to doing these 30 shares with me, face to face, heart to heart, painting the world pink, and most importantly, keeping Mary Kay Ash's dream alive, will you please stand so I can see you?